Hey, it's my Tesla. So why am I back at my Tesla? The electric Porsche needs good parking brake. It's essential. We've already got a really good MG based system, and it's got a beautiful parking brake that will clamp on that rear rotor, except that the rear rotors on the MG are tiny skinny little ones like this, and we need proper man-sized calipers because the Porsche brakes we have on the car are much bigger, quite like Tesla ones. So I thought, why don't we get the parking brake calipers off the Tesla and see if they can work with the Porsche rotors. There's a caliper, and unfortunately, when the idiots who went joyriding in this car and crashed it, they actually broke it. So the caliper's in two parts. That's one part, and look, they've managed to smash this bit, and off it she's come. Might be repairable. Just happened to go joyriding in a car, hit a curb, drive like an idiot, then abandon the car, go and steal another one. We'll get the other one off the other side and see if it's any better. Alright. I mean, look at the size of these Tesla brakes. That's fantastic. So they're the main brakes, and this is the parking brake. So what do we got? 4 leads. Okay, 2 big ones. They'll be the power. Hopefully that's power and reverse polarity, so it'll run backwards to unlock if you turn it one way, and the other 2 I think are a Hall effect sensor to detect whether it's actually engaged or not. So we only need 2 wires for ours, but we'll see. So let's get that off and see if we can make it fit to the Porsche. So then the Porsche will be not just MG bits and Astra bits, it'll be Tesla bits as well, bit of everything. There we go. On perfectly serviceable brake caliper. We're back. Matt's been super busy fixing people's cars, like that nice Porsche out there. So, hey Matt.
Here we go. Howdy all.
Howdy all. So today, lots of things we have to do. A little update. The car lost power. I was driving it and it just wouldn't go. And there's a couple of things causing that. One is there's a brake pedal switch that we haven't connected yet, so it thinks the brakes are on all the time. So obviously with that on, it didn't want to go. So we'll come to that. But the good news is, I thought the car had no grunt at all. I thought, oh, we've broken something by running around without a cooling system, we've damaged something, but that wasn't the case. Battery's getting low. The high voltage battery's, it's down to about a 1/3 charge, so we're going to need to charge it. If we're going to charge it, that's when you're putting energy in, that's when it needs cooling. And here was the drawing of how it worked originally. Little tank going to a pump. We're not using the battery heater. It's not that cold a climate. We're not using this AC heat exchanger. So from the pump straight into the battery, out of the battery, back through the radiator, and actually from there into the top of the expansion tank, and then feeding back into the pump. So that's how it's going to work. We've got this space in here. So we're going to add a fan as well. We don't think it's required, but we'll put a relay on that so it'll operate at the same time as the fan, just to make sure it's cool. Now you might say, why are there 2 cooling systems, one for the battery and one for the motor? The reason is they run at different temperatures. The battery needs to run nice and cool, about 35 degrees max, whereas the motor can run a lot hotter, 70 or 80 degrees. So, and also that they operate at different times. The battery works really hard when you're charging, so we need to make sure it can stay cool even when the motor's not running, so that's why.
This is quite heavy, so I want to mount it off these 2
Yep.
stubs here, but I think we're going to have to, it's going to get a bit floppy, so I'm going to run a brace down to the this
Down below.
This guy there, just
Okay.
to give it some bit of structure.
Okay. Right, so while Matt's working on the cooling system, here's another little drama. Driving the car up and down the driveway the other day, it was losing power. The power was very erratic, like it had about 2 kilowatts. But I was confused as to why the car's clearly shutting down and not delivering anything like the power it should. Even just driving up and down the driveway, you could feel it had nothing. Then I remembered this was a potentiometer that was on the brake pedal, and I thought it was just used for the cruise control. So as you're driving, as you're pushing the brake, it's measuring that for the amount of regen and cruise control type function. Because for some strange reason, this is actually affecting the power, and this is on the brake switch. So That's quite confusing. And we're driving. That's good. Power 65%, 20%, 20% power. Full throttle, 20% power, and backing off.
So when we had the most power, I did this. I had this fully open.
Oh, did you?
Yep, that's when I could feel the power come and go.
Okay, as you were playing with it, because I was holding steady accelerator.
Yeah. It's probably so fine, this thing.
Got to find the exact setting.
Yeah, got to be, you know.
Okay. Oh, well, that's on me.
I reckon this seemed to be max, less power. That was most.
Okay.
So when I take this there.
Yeah. Evidently, I've got to find what the rest position is. When your foot's off the brake, it's probably somewhere about there. So now I have to go and find somebody else's MG and measure what the sort of rest position is on the brake, and when you're at sort of half brake and full brake, that kind of thing. And then fudge it somehow so that it thinks we don't have our foot on the brake while we're accelerating. It'd actually be quite hard to make up a bracket that actually mirrors the function of the MG, because the pedal shape and arrangement and bracketry is completely different from the Porsche. I'll show you something fun. The other day I bought a little dongle to go in the loom. Something I didn't foresee. One of the advantages of using the MG's electrical system is I bought that little dongle and then I just got a free app. And look at all the stuff I can see on the screen here. Battery voltages, we've got 49% battery, state of health of the battery is 94%, which is pretty good, I gather. Battery voltage is extremely even. The lowest one's 3.71, the highest one's 3.72. So they're nicely balanced. We've got a power curve, we've got torque, and driving up the driveway the other day I could see we're getting really good torque, like 250 Newton meters, but not much power because you need the speed to get the power out. So this is going to be a really useful tool in figuring out where we're at. Tyre pressure monitors seem to be waking up. They were all showing the same reading, but this one's woken up. So I think the tyre pressure sensors will actually come good once we drive the car a bit. So that's encouraging. And temperatures as well. Fantastic having the OBD stuff coming through. That's going to be very helpful.
Okay. That's a bolt through, which easy for us. We just need a flat and a hole. But this here like hooks into like a piece of pressed sheet metal.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to make something for that end, but
just put a self tapper through it. Cable ties, gaff tape.
That's it. Duct tape if it should move. WD-40 if it should move. It's somewhere there, but it's easy to get to.
Okay. Minimum setting 4K, maximum setting 1K. Between pins 2 and 3. Minimum setting 1K, maximum setting 4K. Okay, just a normal pot. I don't think it's going to be in the way of debris and stuff coming off the wheels. This is not an off-road vehicle. We'll have a floor at about this height, and I don't mind if this bottle sits higher than the floor, we'll just build it around it.
Yep.
I'd originally planned that the radiator would be straight, flush down, but Matt thought it looked a bit ugly just sitting low, and if we ever do put a plate underneath it'd be too low, so just looking at options. That looks good too.
Pushing air this way, it doesn't really.
Yeah, it's got nowhere to go.
It's trying to escape and it'll heat up this.
Bearing in mind the whole system, it's not running very hot. It's not like a combustion engine car.
Yeah.
The radiator the MG used was the same one they had for the petrol car, and it's complete overkill. Yeah, that's right. See, that's the top hose. So that's right. They've used that existing petrol radiator goes in here, and they said, "Oh, we don't need that. We'll just leave it down to just 18."
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to have a problem with overheating. We're already overdoing it. Sometimes you just got to take 2 minutes to sit and look at it and come up with your solution.
The simplest designs are the hardest to come up with, I think.
A few minutes later.
At an angle, good idea. We're smart.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's well out of the way there.
Yeah. It's got to come down a bit just so this outlet doesn't foul them out.
Yeah. You've got to be able to fit the hose to it.
So somewhere there.
So, yeah, and it's nice that it's angled up like that too.
Yeah.
So that's the pickup, isn't it? Because hot goes in the top and cold comes out the bottom. I don't even know whether it's going to draw air from above down or from below up. We haven't figured out where the low and high pressure points are for the movement of air. We won't push against the draft. That makes no sense. That's nice, isn't it? 993 Cabrio in Arctic silver. Manual. That's what you want. Carrera. Beautiful. This one's getting a new clutch. Right. Masses of clearance here. These brakes we thought were pretty big look pretty small with these giant wheels on them. Look, there's been a lot of feedback on the wheels. Ow! Did it again. Don't have to fit the 19s. I've got a nice set of 17 BBS wheels, which just period correct. They're really nice wheels, so, you know, if this is too much, we can go back to 17s. Yeah, I don't care. My car. Isn't that right, Matt?
What's that?
It's my car.
That's it. You do what you want.
I can paint it friggin' pink if I want to.
That's it. Put spinners on it.
Would you like spinners?
Put some 14-inch steelies on it.
Hey,
Some Falcon Territory steelies. Some 17s.
Yeah.
That's style, Australia style.
So here we have Matt's completed engine cradle, front mount, with this extra brace that he put in because it was bowing before when it was getting hammered by the motor. So it's exactly what we want. It's bolted in nicely now. And on the sides, beautiful work. That side, this side here.
So we want this to come in from the bottle, and this will shoot out into this tank. Shoot over.
They're designed to feed in from above. Their normal placement is kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
So they come in from the top.
Yep.
So they gravity feed. And
Looks like we can run this pump on its side.
oh, can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Got here, up, okay, side, this way, that way.
Right.
Just says here, ensure the mounting position ensures that pump will never be starved of fluid.
Yeah.
The bottle will be this far above it,
Yeah.
and it says on its side, pointing to the sky.
Okay. Terrific.
Just not upside down.
Thank you for checking that.
So we can run it.
I would have made you do all this extra work for
Oh,
nothing.
it's super easy. If I trim this bracket and
Yeah.
point this up to the sky,
Yep.
it's almost at the top level. We just run a 90 and it
Yep.
goes straight to the inverter.
Okay. So one thing that's nice about this project is we're not changing any of the steering geometry. You can see here's the original Porsche rack. We've got new boots for it. But all the tie rods and pickup points, everything's exactly the same. New upper control arms because the old ones were just, the bushes were gone. New brakes. But using this rack's good. It is a power assisted rack, of course, and there are the fittings there, high and low pressure fittings that go to a power steering pump. And we're not using the Porsche's mechanical power steering pump. We're going to use this bugger out of an Astra, an electrically powered one. And I reckon it'll go up there. It'll be really hard to check the level, but it fits so nicely. And look at the high pressure and low pressure lines right next to the rack here, where they're going to be attached. So that, in that sense, it's perfect. Well, that should work pretty well. I think it looks good at an angle like that.
Yep.
Looks very 911 GT3 race car-ish.
Oh yeah.
The thing we haven't figured out is whether we're blowing the air through or sucking it through.
Yeah, we'll be sucking it through. Just
Yeah.
like the Honda intended.
All right. That's a lovely little bracket.
Yeah.
And you just turn my back for 5 seconds and you've painted it.
Yeah.
Now my finger's painted.
We can actually rotate this guy so this guy can point that way.
Yep, whichever way we want.
Yeah.
Do you think this might need some sort of shroud or protection just to stop the odd bit of road debris coming up and hitting it, or even just a mesh or something to stop big rocks?
Yeah.
It tends to, come off here, ting off that, and then come back again.
Yeah.
I know that from when I was filming it for the World Rally Championships at a creek crossing that was completely dry.
Oh yeah.
And it was just round pebbles.
Yep.
And I was filming there. I thought, where can I position myself so I'm not going to get absolutely pelted by these rocks?
And you just do.
And and I went on the outside of the corner as they came up the hill back at me, so I wasn't, they were coming past me.
Yep.
But what happens is the rally cars, they shoot the stones out so hard,
Yep.
then they ricochet off other round stones and come back at you.
Oh,
So the car comes past, and then you get showered from behind after it's gone by, not from in front. So I had good protection in front, but, and honestly, I was black and blue from the thing, so same thing could happen here. You'll get stuff that comes off here, and it'll just flick off here, bounce, and,
Yep.
and then ricochet into it.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea, just a little shield there. Good plan. See that little point there? Yeah. Look, despite my cheery nature, I'm stressing, as I just don't know why we've got no power, or intermittent power. Modern cars are so complicated and so safety aware. I can think of a dozen reasons why this car might restrict the power delivery. I know we've still got an intermittent vacuum leak at the brake booster, which I know causes it to go into turtle mode, and that limits power to 20%. But there are potentially a whole lot of showstoppers that I just can't fix, stuff that was in the MG that we no longer have in the Porsche. Much of the stability control system's gone, we don't have any steering angle sensors, there's no airbags, half the ABS system, seatbelt buckles and the pretensioners all gone, driver occupancy detection, the radar, the SOS back to base system, forward view lane keeping camera, the column mounted electric power steering, working air conditioning that it used to have to cool the battery, and the wheel speed sensors aren't even connected yet, which will no doubt send the regeneration system into a tiz. And the car also knows there's no coolant, as the coolant pumps are freewheeling with no load. I saw that on the error codes. So any of these things might cause it to say, no, 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 you can have just enough power to get to an authorised MG service centre, where somebody who actually knows what they're doing can fix it. So, can you imagine how I felt when, with just a few little tweaks to that brake pedal position sensor and the switch, this happened? We've got drive, we get sport mode. Sport mode. I'll take my foot off the brake. Ready? Ready? Fuck me dead. Thing actually goes. Holy Mother Mary and Joseph.
Look good.
Yeah, that was fast.
Yeah.
That was faster
Did
again.
you get to 100% on the throttle?
I was too busy looking at the driveway.
Yeah.
It was close,
Yeah.
but it was good. Whatever it was fine.
Yeah.
So that was this guy here. This is the rheostat that was on the brake,
Yep.
and you've taped it in a position now where
Taped it.
wherever it is, it's not holding the bloody thing back. It's going now.
Yeah, it felt like that's where it had max power, which is cranked one way.
Yeah,
So
mate, you've done great work.
There
Do
we
you
go.
want to go
It's
home now?
it's home time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, good. We're getting power anyway.
Yeah. And look, we got a lovely radiator in the back there,
Yep.
and there's a lovely radiator in the front there that you can't see. And I've only banged my head once or twice today. You want to see the scars?
That's all you want.
Rolling. Should be going well now. Let's just see. Get around the corner, 20% throttle. And sorry I frightened the basketballer there.
Oh yeah. Watching his ball.
Yep. Well, you see, you should. Let's make sure they're nice and polished as well.
That's it.
That's why you need a Manscaper 5.0. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaper 5.0. Keep that forest cut. I don't think on our channel we're going to advertise that stuff.
No.
Okay, Matt, I love your work. Thank you.
Yep. That's good anyway.
That looked fast.
That switch. Who would have thought a switch on the brake
well.
pedal?
It's the electronics, isn't it?
So much to do with.
It has gone back to limp mode now.
Oh yeah.
But that was not limping up there, was it?
No.
This car's got plenty to get up and go. Mildly warm inverter. Motor. Stone cold. So to fix the paint, the guy reckons, like, see all this? Horrible. reckon it's about $3,000 to soda blast it right back. Then we can paint it. To think I was budgeting $3 to paint it. Ha! You're dreaming. So I think that's a grand place to round out this episode. It's full steam ahead now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends. And above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.